welcome to Cooking at the Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers, and today is a very special day. My show has not just one guest, but has two today, and I am very excited. These gentlemen are probably the most patriotic and country-loving people that I've ever met, and I am very proud to be able to call them friends. I would like to introduce to you General Tommy Franks and Colonel Michael Hayes. Come on out, guys.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Thanks for
You're
doing
looking
this.
lovely today.
Thank you. Okay, I have been told that you guys like margaritas.
Who
Well-
told you that?
I think maybe you did. So I whipped up a batch of my homemade margaritas, which the recipe is online because I did make these one other time. And if you'll excuse the old guy rules glasses, they're about the only ones I could find that were appropriate for today.
Old guys?
Old guys rule.
Oh,
High mileage, low maintenance.
I got it.
So we're going to start with a margarita.
Well, here's to you, Ruthie.
And to you guys.
Thank you.
It's a good show. Thanks for
Michael.
joining me.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to do a quick recap. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. I know you served your country and loved that. Just briefly. I know that's hard for you, but just a quick recap.
Well, I tell a lot of people, Ruthie, that I spent about 38 years in the military.
Wow.
And probably the best part of all of that was Michael Hayes, who we met, I guess it seemed like a long time ago.
A year or two ago.
I was a lot younger, and he for sure was a lot younger. And so probably for 25 years or so, we worked together all around the world. And then at the end of a pretty good military career, Kathy and I decided to leave the military about the same time Michael decided to leave the military. And so we did that about 6 years ago. Wrote the book. I see you have the book.
I do have the book.
That's
Awesome book.
entirely fitting because we're right here in the book vault.
I know.
And so we wrote the book, and we've been traveling around and doing the best we can to encourage patriotism and get people to remember that freedom isn't free.
That's right.
And you can tell from looking at both of us, we've been around kitchens some. And it's a treat to be here with you. We enjoy this neighborhood. We like Oskaloosa. Reminds me of my growing up towns. And so we come up here to hang out with our buddies, including your husband, at Musco Lighting, Joe Crookham and Jeannie. No place that I know of can you find more patriotism in one neighborhood than you find right here.
Well, that's awesome.
So I reckon that's enough about me.
Not much more to add. Grew up on a farm, so the experiences and the people that I grew up with are similar to what's here in Iowa. 20 years in the Army, hanging out with this guy now is wonderful, and we're very blessed and privileged, and hanging out with you is even better. So I'm looking forward to a great show and telling us how to do it.
Well, you guys are big guys, and I know big guys like meat and potatoes, so that's what we're going to be cooking today. We're going to do a drunken steak, which is marinated.
A drunken steak.
Drunken steak.
Does that have anything to do with the meat, or does that have something to do with these margaritas?
Well, actually, it's got rum, so
I
we're
got
going to
it.
have a little rum on top of that. We're going to roast some red potatoes with rosemary in the oven. We're going to steam some green beans, and for dessert, I'm going to make a red, white, and blue trifle. Or we're going to make a red, white, and blue trifle to keep it a little patriotic. So let's raise our glasses to an excellent episode.
Wow.
We'll be right back with more Cooking at the Vault. Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers, and my two guests today, General Tommy Franks and Colonel Michael Hayes, and we're about to get down to cooking some meat and potatoes. So our first dish is going to be some rosemary roasted red potatoes in the oven, and I am going to mix everything in a Ziploc bag. It makes it go a lot easier. So
Can I hold the bag?
if you would hold the bag,
Okay.
we're just gonna pour these in.
Michael, help me where I need it.
That is about a pound of red potatoes. Cut them bite size or any size you want. These will cook up a little faster because they are smaller. We're going to add a teaspoon of rosemary. And then we're going to add a half a cup of olive oil. And I do it in the bag just because it makes it easier to get everything coated before you
Right.
pour it on the pan instead
Right.
of doing that. All right, now if you want to seal that up and do a little dance with it to get everything mixed up a little bit.
I'm a pretty good sealer. Michael is actually a dance man.
We'll see how good he sealed it if they end up on
Yeah,
the floor
try it
or
on the
not.
floor. No, I didn't.
All right,
So far, so good.
good in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Then we're just going to dump them out onto the pan. Spread them out so they're one layer, so they're going to cook evenly. Then we're going to add some sea salt. I like the sea salt, a little coarse. Add some fresh ground black pepper. The guys in my house like black pepper. I'm
You
not
bet.
a huge pepper fan, but
Around our house also.
they like it, so. But you gotta have all the flavors while you're cooking it. And that's all there is to it. How easy is that? Stick them in
good.
the oven. They're gonna bake on 375
Michael, are you taking notes?
Taking notes. I can do that.
for about 45 minutes. And they'll get nice and crispy and the rosemary will cook into it.
45 minutes?
45 minutes,
What heat?
375.
375.
Or you can put them, if you're doing your steak and potatoes outside, put them in a foil.
On the grill.
Wrap them up tightly on the grill, and
But
the bottom ones get a little black on the bottom and
Oh,
crispy and
I can do
toasty.
that.
Making me hungry.
Wow.
Well, wait till they start cooking and then we'll be able to smell it. So
All right.
that's the potatoes. So we are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna get a drunken steak going. So come back to
wait.
Cooking at the Vault. We'll be back in a few minutes. Hi, and welcome back to Cooking at the Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers, along with my guests for today, General Tommy Franks and Colonel Michael Hayes. So far, we have put together our roasted rosemary red potatoes, and they're cooking in the oven. I am going to start our steamed green beans, and I've got the water hot. These are going to steam for about 10 minutes. Got one of these handy little steamers that fits down and folds down to any size pan you have.
Well,
So those are kind of cool. Whoops. We're going to let those steam, and we are going to start on our drunken steak.
all right, all right.
So I have used a flat iron steak. You can use a
iron.
flank steak or a skirt steak. The butcher told me the flat iron steak is a little more tender. Now you probably know a lot about steaks because I understand you're a pretty
We-
good steak cooker yourself.
We do raise a little Angus beef, so
You
we
do.
know
We'll
something
talk about that while I chop the onions and get stuff ready for our marinade.
It's I don't know what you think, Michael, but I guess that I'm all right with about any cut of meat, whether it's flat iron or cube steak or whatever it is, as long as it's good beef to begin with, and as long as we have somebody like Ruthie, or my wife Kathy, or Kelly cooking it,
That's right.
then
Makes a
then
difference.
it turns out, you know, then it turns out to be great. So I'm all right with any of it.
And you also raise some other meat on your ranch.
We have some Great American Bison out there.
So you have
also-
bison, not buffalo. Is there
No,
a difference?
well,
There's a
Great
difference,
American
right?
Bison is actually the name of them, but our grandkids call them buffalo, and so we're okay with that. And so we'll usually keep some buffalo burgers in the freezer, and if you come out and visit us, Ruthie, you know, at some point or other you'll be eating some bison.
Well, that sounds good to me. I grew up in Wyoming, and we
Yeah.
had a herd of
Yeah.
buffalo, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were. I guess
Yeah.
we always called them buffalo too. So about 30 miles from us, and it was on the way to a lake when we would go skiing, and
Yeah.
we just were excited whenever they were up towards the road and you could
Right.
see them, because a lot of times they stayed clear off in the back.
Well, ours are pretty domesticated because we feed them along with when we feed the cattle. So
Did you say you feed them out of your hand?
Yeah, you can
have 'em
feed them out of your hand, yes. There's about 3 or 4 that are domesticated enough to come up there, and some of them are still skittish, but 3 or 4, they'll come up there and slobber all over your hand.
Inside the same fence as
Right,
them
yes.
or on the other side? Oh my
Inside the
gosh.
same fence, yes.
I guess that would take me a while.
is that garlic that you just chopped
did.
there, or is that what that is?
I just chopped 2 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
I like garlic a lot. You have to
Yeah,
have garlic
I like
for
it.
that.
I like
And
it.
I chopped 3 green onions. And for the rest of the marinade, I am going to use a cup of soy sauce, which is probably going to be the rest of the bottle. Is that a good measure or what? This recipe was given to me by a friend of mine whose son is in the Marines, and
Wow.
he and the guys tried this recipe and gave it to her. So
Battle tested.
yes,
Semper
and
Fidelis.
it is so good. It's kind of an Asian flair to it. Then I added 3 tablespoons of sesame oil, which is very good. The main ingredient is dark rum. Going to add a cup of that. When it cooks, of course it cooks all the alcohol out. People worry
Right.
when they cook with alcohol that if they have kids that it's going to harm them. But
No, I
it
didn't
cooks
know
out,
that.
but the taste stays there.
It cooks, the alcohol
Cooks
just
the alcohol
evaporates?
out. Yep.
I didn't know that.
So it's not in there. So your grandkids could eat this as well. Okay, then we have 2 tablespoons of sugar. And Michael, if you will grab me one of those spatulas there. I am going to just stir this up until the sugar dissolves in there. And then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Then, like the potatoes, we're going to pour this all into a Ziploc bag with the steak, and it will marinate for 4 hours, or you can marinate it overnight if you think far enough ahead what you want to have for dinner or for a party. Add the onions and the garlic. And then I'm going to grate 2 tablespoons of ginger root. Do you like ginger?
Yes. I can smell it from here. It's just terrific.
Took me a while to acquire a taste for ginger, but my son said the other day, "You're using that a lot lately, Mom." And I said, "Well, I think I've acquired a taste for it." So about 2 tablespoons of that. Gonna whip all that together.
That make you hungry?
Well, I can't wait.
I'm mad.
Yeah, smell that. How good does that smell?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then you want to take out about a cup of the marinade and just set it aside, because you're going to use that over the top of the steak once it has cooked to bring back the flavors. But give your grandkids their steak before you do that, because that has
Right.
the uncooked rum.
Right.
All right. Hold bag. Set that down in there. We'll pour this in and try not to get it all over us, Michael. Okay, we're going to seal that back up.
Okay.
He does do the Ziploc dance pretty good, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
So you're going to want to put this in the refrigerator for 4 hours or overnight. And I usually put it inside a bowl in the refrigerator just in case it leaks and I don't have a big mess
Right.
in my refrigerator to clean up. General, if you will get in the refrigerator, I have one that I actually did this morning,
Oh, ready to go.
all ready to go.
Tell you what.
All right, let's see. We're going to let the pan heat up just a little bit, and I'm going to sneak in here and grab some tongs that I didn't get earlier. And you're going to spray your grill pan. Again, you can do this outside on a barbecue. So when you barbecue, do you use charcoal or do you use a gas grill?
Gas.
Yes, yes.
Gas. It is the easiest. Do you do any smoking?
No.
My husband has a smoker. He likes to smoke.
I love the result, but I've just never been patient enough.
It is time
Takes a
consuming.
little longer, yeah.
They have an electric one now that does it in like half the time. And it has a little pellet feeder that goes in, and
Right.
it's pretty interesting. We're going to turn the green beans off, maybe. Because you don't want to overcook those. You want them to stay nice and bright. I'm going to get this baby hot till it starts smoking. When you put this on, you want it to kind of sear,
Sure, yeah.
and that helps hold the juices in. And
Right.
how do you like your steaks cooked?
Medium. I like
Medium.
Medium?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we can get it to that consistency, because my husband's usually the steak cooker at home, but
I'd find that hard to believe, you know, look, because I think you're the cook.
well, he does a better job on the grill than I do.
Ah.
So he's pretty good. So, and with this steak, it's thin, so it doesn't take
Take longer to
too
do.
long.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
How
yes.
does that sound?
Always makes you feel like you did really well when
Right.
it sounds like that. You know, so. Okay, with this steak, it's going to cook about 6 to 8 minutes on each side. And you don't want it to cook too fast, otherwise it gets too done on the outside and not done
Right.
enough on the inside, which
Right.
I'm very good at doing. So let's hope it doesn't do that today. We'll turn this down a little bit. And also with steaks and burgers, I've also been told that you're only supposed to flip them once.
Yeah, I've heard that also.
And with patties and burgers, you're not supposed to smash them down.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I
Takes
didn't.
all the juices out. I learned that from a
Right.
previous guest. So,
Ah.
That's good. I'll apply that lessons tomorrow.
and when the
matter of
juice
fact.
is quick coming out of it, then you know it's getting done inside. So.
Right.
Well, we're going to let this cook up a little bit, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to finish up with the steak and move on to some dessert.
All
So
right.
stay right here. We'll be back with more Cooking at the Vault. How are your margaritas?
Good, terrific.
Don't just say that yet. Hi, and welcome back to Cooking at the Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers with my guest Tommy Franks and Colonel Michael Hayes. We started our flank steak that's been marinated in rum, soy sauce, and some sesame oil with various other ingredients. Cooking 6 to 8 minutes each side. It's still looking like it's got a ways to go, but how's it smelling?
Smelling great.
Real
Smell good?
Can't wait.
I've got this little probe that you use to poke into the meat, and it's going to tell you how well done the steak is. If it's red, it's rare. If it's yellow, it's medium. If it's blue, So see, we're still a little bit in the rare, kind of rare to medium. But with a steak like this, I think you want it more towards medium rare instead of well done. I don't like my meat mooing at me or anything when I go to eat it.
Right.
Still see a little blood there. So you guys are not in the military anymore. What are you doing these days? You have a pretty interesting thing going on down in Oklahoma. You want to talk a little bit about that?
I better listen to him.
Well, we got three components of the General Tommy Franks Leadership Museum in the Institute. We have the museum located in Hobart, Oklahoma, that we just had a grand opening in 23rd of May. That was in conjunction with a Memorial Day celebration in Hobart. Just turned out to be a great success.
Which I got to go to, and it was wonderful.
That was real nice.
Very nice
But
occasion.
two other components of that is a program called the Roadshow, which is a mobile museum that we put together and take to all the middle schools in Oklahoma and Texas, showing them parts of the world that may not be familiar with, mainly the Middle East. And there's a curriculum that the teachers use to stimulate and educate the young kids on things and culture and world geography that they may not be able to do in a day-to-day.
I'm going to cheat and flip it one more time.
That's right.
Okay.
And then the other thing that keeps us busy is a program called iDebate, now known as the 4-star debate developing leaders with General Tommy Franks. Just finished up 2 weeks ago, matter of fact.
Oh, cool.
Where we bring in about 48 of the brightest kids across the nation to
What age?
11th and 12th grades,
okay.
and focused on communication, debate skills, and leadership. So we run them through a 1-week camp where we'll pick a topic of the day that'll be the focus for debate training and debate, and then we intersperse the leadership training and communication skills and all this throughout the week. And then the final is we work through competition and select 2 teams, and they have a final debate at the end of it, and we judge and award scholarships and to the kids who do that. So it's just phenomenal.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we added something new this year that you may want to talk about.
Well, this is the second year we've done that, Ruthie. And last year we had all American kids from I forget exactly, about 40 of the 50 states.
Right.
And this year we decided to bring some kids from overseas. So I talked to some friends in the Middle East, and we had a couple of kids from the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi and
wow.
Dubai, and we had a couple of kids from Jordan. And we had, I think, one student from Rwanda.
Rwanda, yes.
And it was very interesting to watch the way relationships built with these kids.
With international kids, just intermingled.
Yeah,
Wow.
international, and it's fun to watch the kids come together because there's a wonderful social mix, there's a wonderful racial mix, there's a wonderful religious mix. Because they're all focused on some program, and this year it was, interestingly enough, healthcare and how to move forward.
Oh, wow.
With that, and so that's the topic the kids debated. And who knows? Maybe next year we'll take the camp overseas. The past 2 years we've done it
that
here
would be
in the United States,
Right.
and so we'll see how it develops. But it's great fun. And the feedback we get from the kids and their parents is very positive.
Oh, that sounds
So
like
it's
an
exciting
awesome
for us.
experience for
Yeah,
kids that age.
it's exciting.
Wow, especially the ones that came in from
Right.
overseas.
You bet.
Kind of like an
You bet.
exchange student program,
is,
but
yeah.
something that's
Right.
even more educational for them.
Yep.
See what I tell you, they just do so much for the country and kids, and pretty cool.
If it is really, if it isn't about the kids, what's it about?
That's right.
Now, this is the future of our country, and so we take great pride in doing it, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a family affair for us. My wife Kathy and all of our friends, in one way or another, get involved in these programs, and so that's what we're doing, and we're loving it.
Well, and to have your community help and get involved with
You
that,
bet.
it kind of expands the
You bet.
ownership through
Right.
pride and other things for
I think
people
it's
to be
good,
involved in the community.
I think it's good for all of us.
It
I do.
is. Well, and they get to see what some kids lack, and
Yep.
you know, it's probably a lot of excitement when they get to meet you guys and be a part of something like that. So.
I don't know about that, but I think the viewers, go up on the web, go to TommyFranks.com, and you can see about all the stuff that Michael was talking about.
Oh, that's awesome. Maybe
Yeah.
we can put a link on the
Yeah,
show
terrific.
that they can go right to it. That'd
Terrific.
be great. Okay, guys, let's test the steak.
I'm getting hungry.
Okay, the little probe is showing
You're about there.
medium, so it's
You're
about
about there.
medium rare. So I think we will turn the heat off. You never want to overcook a steak because you can't take it backwards. And I cheated. I flipped it a couple times. I'm kind of impatient
Always,
that
always
way,
do
so.
that, yep.
And I'm going to set it on the cutting board and cover it with some foil. And let it set for a little bit. And what this does is lets the juices go back into the meat, so when you cut it, the juices don't all run out. So we're going to leave that. I'm going to check the potatoes. Ooh, can you smell the rosemary? They're cooking up nicely. So we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to make the dessert. And then we'll go on to plating everything up and enjoying some of this food. So we'll be right back with more Cooking at the Vault in just a couple minutes. Hi, we're back to Cooking at the Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers with my special guests today, General Tommy Franks and Colonel Michael Hayes. Thanks again, guys, for sticking in here with me.
You bet.
We've now come to probably my favorite part of
mine
most
too.
meals,
Mine too.
which is dessert. And in honor of your patriotism, I picked something red, white, and blue.
All right.
I tried to work an apple pie into this thing because there's nothing more American than apple pie, but it took too long, and I am not a pie maker, so I found something really quick and really easy. And it's a trifle, and it not only tastes really good when it's done, but it looks really
Looks really
pretty in the bowl. So I am going to have you whip the pudding for me if you can.
Okay, I won't hurt myself, will I?
Okay, well, you might get splattered, so we'll just see how careful you are with it. I am using 1 3-ounce box of French vanilla pudding, and you want the instant kind because the cooked kind doesn't work. When I was testing it a couple weeks ago, I grabbed the wrong box and wondered why it wasn't setting up for me, and looked at the box and realized I had bought the cooking kind. To the pudding, you're going to add 2 cups of cold milk, and you just want to whip this for about a minute. Start on low and work up to medium, and that's going to thicken.
How am I doing?
You're doing really good.
You're pretty good with heavy machinery.
Don't let me hurt myself.
Kitchen power tools are about the only power tools my husband lets me handle. He gets really nervous when he calls and I've got the drill or something out, so. And a lot of my kitchen power tools I keep him away from because he can do as much damage with those as I can with the outdoor ones, so. While he's whipping that together, I have taken 1 store-bought pound cake. Nothing better than pound cake.
I love pound cake.
A pound of this and a pound of that. So you're just going to start by putting that, again, I've chopped it into bite-sized pieces, about 1-inch square. Kind of level them out in the pan. And then I've taken 2 pints of raspberries and a 1/2 cup of sugar, and I pureed them. Whoops, I forgot the best part first. This is Chambord, which is a raspberry liqueur. Very good. Going to use a 1/2 cup of that. Is it getting thick?
No, not yet.
Uh-oh.
It is thickening. You want me to turn it up a notch?
Sure. Kick it up a notch.
Kind of like sixth gear in a Harley.
Yeah, did you watch that, how I kicked it up?
That's right.
Yeah, these guys like their Harleys, so I'm going to take a half cup of the Chambord and just pour it over the pound cake. And that's going to suck up all that juice and
Ruthie, hold that cup over here and let me smell it. All right.
that smells good. Yum. And this one isn't cooking, so the alcohol will not burn out of it. So.
No, no.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Okay, then to the top of that, I'm going to pour the 2 pints of raspberries with a half cup of sugar that I pureed. You can do this with strawberries as well. Uh-oh, he's kicking it up a notch.
Right.
I kicked it up a notch, Michael.
Yeah.
It is thickening.
Okay, we're getting there then.
Take that.
Thank you. Ooh, that's getting there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now if you use strawberries, you can just use a plain sherry, or you can just use a juice of some kind if you don't want to put alcohol in it.
Give it a
So you
little-
don't have to use the alcohol.
I think we're at when.
That looks good. Okay. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Now you're just going to pour this as the next layer. Does it look good yet?
Oh my goodness. I'd guess that's probably pretty much low calorie, isn't it?
Actually, you can do this low-cal. I didn't do it that way. So see, now you have your red and your white. It's
Very
kind of yellow.
pretty.
Then you're going to add about 1.5 pints of blueberries. Try and make sure you get stuff around the edges so when you look at the outside of the bowl you see, whoops, the red, the white, and the blue. And then we're going to top. You'll grab me one more little spatula.
Right, okay, here's a
Out
little
of
bit
there.
of this.
Thank you. With pre-made whipped topping. You can make your own whipped cream if you want to and put on top, which is good to do, and you can add a little of the Chambord to it instead of vanilla, so you get a little bit of the raspberry taste in that as well. And we're just going to spoon this over the top. So what are some of your favorite desserts? Are you a
well-
pie eater? Are you a cake eater?
Well, if it's a pie and it's warm and it has ice cream
Ice
on
cream?
it, I like that a lot.
Favorite
a lot
pie?
of times if I go to, well, probably cherry,
Cherry.
but a lot of times if I go to, you know, a real fancy place, which is really not often, but a lot of times if I do that, I'll have a creme brulee.
That's my favorite.
I like that.
I made that on one of my shows.
Did you?
I did.
You didn't burn yourself with a little torch, did you?
I didn't.
Good.
I didn't.
I tried to make it one time and I almost hurt myself.
Those things can be wicked. They really can. Another one of those kitchen tools maybe men shouldn't be around. No, kidding. Then we're just going to garnish the top with some of the berries that you've taken out from the beginning.
Isn't that simple?
Wow, looks real good.
If I was real creative, I could have made the blueberries the shape of a star, but my artwork freehand is not the greatest, so we'll settle for that. So how does that look, guys?
Boy, that
Wow,
looks
beautiful,
terrific.
Beautiful.
From the side?
Looks terrific. Is it natural on your show for people to drool?
You're welcome to drool. That makes me feel good. The more you drool, the better I feel. So, well, that's it for
Real
the
nice.
dessert. You want to put this in the refrigerator and let it chill for
Do
a
that
couple.
for you?
We'll wait for a minute.
Okay.
Have it chill for a couple hours, and it's ready
Ready to go.
to serve. So we're going to take one more break and get things ready to plate up and get ready to eat. So stay right there. We'll be back with more Cooking at the Vault.
Almost time for another margarita.
Hey, we can handle that. Welcome back to Cooking at the Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers. Got Tommy Franks, who's getting a little hungry, and Colonel Hayes. And we are now going to prepare the green beans, and I'm going to cut the steak, and then we'll get stuff plated up, and then you guys will get to
Ready to go.
taste some of what you've helped me prepare today.
Great.
So, General, if you would remove the lid on the green beans, you're going to be adding 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 teaspoons of herbes de Provence, which is kind of a mixture of fennel, lavender, thyme, and basil, kind of the herbs that they like to use in France. But
How
I
do
like
they
the
know how
taste.
much basil to put in that?
I have no idea. I think they go by smell. I don't know.
Only teasing. Okay.
And then get that all mixed up, and then we'll add the almonds last. And see, you were going to put those in first, weren't you?
This? Oh, yeah.
And you're just going to stir it all together. While he's doing that, I'm going to be cutting our steak.
Oh, wow.
But you want to kind of
You got that
cut
perfect,
it at
just
an
right.
angle. Ooh, that does look pretty good. Tell you, I always get nervous when I'm cooking a steak.
Jeff would be proud.
Well, I made it at home the other night, and because I always have to, you know, test the recipes before I do them.
Of course.
You know, this seasoning smells like a spice market in Oman.
Oh, I could go crazy there. I love
Yeah,
spices.
I thought I'd
and-
share that with you.
Thank you very much.
You're
Maybe
welcome.
I can get there someday.
Is it appropriate to reach in and test one of these
It
beans?
is.
every-
You
Okay.
can't serve anything unless it tastes good, so.
Okay.
How's it taste?
Real
Are they
good.
still a little crunchy? We didn't get them too done,
Exactly.
did
Nope,
we?
they're perfect.
Okay, good. And we've got the potatoes I've taken out of the oven.
Keep your
Put
hands
them
out
in
there,
the
Michael.
casserole
Ready for
dish.
No, she won't permit
You
me
wanna
to use
taste one
the
of those?
almonds yet.
Yes.
Be careful, they're hot. Somebody experienced putting one in their mouth and there was a little toasty.
No, thank you.
I'm gonna stay away from that.
I was the one who experienced that. You'll recall.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's about that, right?
Okay, throw the almonds in and give it a good mix
Okay.
up, and we'll be ready to eat. So, guys, we're going to recap now what we did today on Cooking at the Vault. Rosemary roasted red potatoes. You'll need some cubed red potatoes as well as rosemary seasoning and olive oil. You'll start by dropping the potatoes into a Ziploc bag, then you add your rosemary and finish by adding the olive oil. Next, you'll want to thoroughly shake the potatoes. When they're covered in seasoning, pour them out on a pan, add salt and pepper. Bake in the oven for 45 minutes at 375. Drunken flank steak. For the steak, you'll need some sesame oil, soy sauce, and Bacardi rum. A flank steak, salt and pepper, and some marinade. You'll start by dropping the steak into a Ziploc bag. Next, you'll pour the marinade over the meat, seal the bag, shake well, then place it all in the refrigerator for 4 hours. When the steak is ready, throw it on the grill and cook it thoroughly. Once your meat is nice and cooked, slice it into strips, then plate and serve. Red, white, and blue trifle. Start by rounding up a pound cake, vanilla pudding, Chambord liqueur, whipped cream, fresh raspberries, and blueberries. Next, you'll whip up the pudding, then cut the pound cake into squares and add a serving dish. Pour the Chambord over the pound cake, then pour on the blended raspberries, add the pudding, dollop on the whipped cream, and garnish with whole berries, then serve and enjoy. Hi, welcome back to Cooking at the Vault. As you can see, the guys and I have finished up in the kitchen, and we have been joined by General Franks' lovely wife, Kathy. She's going to help taste what we made today. So if you guys want to go ahead and dig into the meal, on behalf of Jim F. Franks and Colonel Hayes and Kathy, I'd like to thank you guys
Well, thank you
for
very
helping
much.
me today on Cooking at the Vault. Cheers.
It was really good, if I say so myself.
For today's menu card, as well as clips for upcoming episodes, go to the MCG website at www.mahaska.org. And for more healthy living recipes, go to Hy-Vee's website at www.hyvee.com.